Hey guys, and welcome back to another trade recap week. Woo! I think this is the third episode. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe. But yeah, I really enjoy these videos, guys. So hopefully you are also enjoying them. But yeah, this week I took 3 trades, 2 wins and 1 loss. Um, yeah, let's get into it. So it was, of course, the first week of December, starting on the 1st of December, Monday. My first trade was on Tuesday. So let's just play price out. My bias for Tuesday was bullish, partly on the fact we were inversing a higher time frame. I think we inversed a 4-hour fair value gap on the higher time frame, and we had a daily high, which was my target. So that is definitely what I was looking for. We didn't come to it in the session, but that was obviously my overall bias target. Okay, so pretty much, let me get to 11. All right, so 11 a.m. here. There was no entry or anything for me during AM session. It was just a bit, we had a nice push up, which we usually do at open, and then we had this sort of weird sort of range where we chopped, came out of the chop, but then chopped again, came out of the chop, but then chopped, and then came out, and then so it was quite untradeable for me. And it being December, you've got to be careful due to it is the holiday month of the year, seeing as we have Christmas and New Year's towards the end of it. So price action is definitely expected to be a little bit worse. So I was definitely being careful. But usually I don't always stick around. But the 11 till 12 New York time is typically it's a bit random, but it can be really good. So this is like lunchtime. That's what you call it, right? Because obviously this is New York AM. This is New York lunchtime. So I actually stayed on, and I'm very happy we do so. So what happens is we have this massive sell off, literally 11 a.m. here, and then we have this massive sell off, and then we are tapping into unmitigated fair value gap. So there's a 1 hour, there's a 5 minute, there's a 4 hour, and then below we had obviously we swept all this liquidity. Below we have this 1 hour MITI and another 1 hour, and it's also London low. Ignore that; that's not meant to be there. And what I was saying during the session was that if we hit these, a long would be amazing. A long from here would be good, but I would like to take the closer draws to liquidity. But what happens is we come down and we tap this low perfectly. We tap it, amazing, right? Let me, and I may have Fiji's. Is it on? Wait, bear with me. Right. I don't know why it wasn't showing. Yeah, so we tap this London low and 1 hour perfectly, and we create this 1 minute fair value gap. So longs were looking amazing, but of course, what do we need? We need displacement. Now, obviously, it's just a 1 minute gap, and what do we get from the next candle? Displacement. This is textbook. This is all you want from a setup. This is literally perfection. You want a nice 1 minute, a decent size. We had 15-point size for Vega and a great displacement. How many points above the fair value gap? 5.5. Not too bad, but when you look at the whole range of the candle, we have a full 34-point size candle. It's insane. The only negative of this is these equal lows created, which I believe were 3 minute. Okay, I thought they were 30 minute, but they're 3 minute equal lows. So of course they're still good, even though they're only 3 minute. But when you have a trade like this, you can't just say no to it. No trade is ever going to be 100% 10 out of 10. So for me, this is an A plus setup. We've got literally everything we've got going for us. We've got a liquidity sweep from this liquidity and this liquidity. We've got a 1 minute fair value gap. We've got an SMT with ES. We do. It's just really far away. So, but trust me, we do. Of course, we've got displacement. We've got bias. We are reacting out of higher time frame fair value gaps. There we go, 15 minute. We just tapped into a 1 hour, so of course we're reacting out of, and then ES we are very correlated, and we have a fair value gap and an inverse on ES. So for me, this is an 8 out of 8. I have my own checklist, but it's 8 out of 8 for me, and personally it's A plus. So I entered full size on this, of course, but yeah. So obviously enter on the candle close. So I had a 25 point stop. I'm going to do this very in detail because, well, yeah. So 25 point stop. So obviously my 1-to-1 is here, but my break-even point was this high. Okay, and same for ES. If ES took it first, I would go break even. But basically, the 1-to-1 is below the break-even point. So what I was doing was I was being skeptical. I would see how we would move. If we came up with great displacement, I wouldn't go to a 1-to-1 straight away. But if we sort of chopped around, it wasn't looking promising, I would try and grab the 1-to-1. But for me, this trade had a lot of potential. We have a lot of sell-side liquidity showing for us on this massive leg down, which I would definitely love to grab. So let's just get into it. So next candle, we have a little bit of a bad candle, but then boom, shoots straight up. Now, ES did take the high here, but because it was just such a nice setup, I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait for NQ to go break even just because I don't want to get wicked out because I just know this will shoot. And that'll be hold. It does. So next candle. So what I did was when we hit break even, I put my stop to break even, but then I put 4, so I entered with 6 micros, bear in mind, okay? I put 4 of those micros at the 1-to-1 point just in case we reverse, I want to lock in 4 out of 6 micros for the trade, okay? In this candle, we actually do end up getting wicked down, so that is where 4 out of 6 of my contracts were placed, were exited, okay? Now, I obviously have 2 micros still in play, and I'm wanting to keep them for runners. So what I do is basically I trail. So I've got 2 micros, so let's draw them both now so I can show you what I did live. Show you how I trail and how you should tactically trail when you have a position. So we're obviously coming up. And so one of them is at break even, and the other one is at the 1-to-1 spot. Okay. Actually, no, sorry, both of them are at the 1-to-1 because, yeah, of course, I've trailed them both. I've trailed everything basically to a 1-to-1. I got wicked out. So now we've pressed up. I've trailed the other 1 and 1 micro to the 1-to-1 spot. So if anything, if we come down and we, whatever, I've confirmed a 1-to-1. So I'm not upset. I kept one of them at the 1-to-1 spot and I trailed the other one I started to follow. I put it at the bottom of this wick, I do believe, yes. I put it at the bottom of this wick. Why? Well, because we've got fair value gaps and it's just a tactical position, in my opinion, to put it below points of liquidity rather than points of R. So, rather than just putting it randomly like there because, that's a 1.8 R, I don't know. But basically, points of liquidity is where you want to put it because you want to, it's just a tactical position of where it could go. Very annoyingly, though, that micro gets put out. So there we go. That is where 1 micro was out. And I still had 1 micro in play. Bear in mind, this 1 micro, and it's sitting at a 1-to-1. And I am so thankful that I did that. So if we play price out, as you can see, I come so close to being, bear in mind, this is my break-even wick, so ignore that. I come so close to this 1-to-1, this 1 micro being wicked out, but it actually doesn't, and price continues to push up. Okay, so now my plan was to just trail this 1 micro so well. So first I put it at this swing low, this wick here. Okay, price continued to come up. I saw that we had this 1 minute for value gap and it got respected. So now I placed it to the bottom of this wick. Okay, price continues to come up, and then slowly, we have a nice little push up, put it to the bottom of this wick, price comes down, hold on, let me just look at my charts. Yeah, big. 1 second, guys, I'm just trying to find where I am on my chart. It's become zoomed in so much, that's why. I was so confused. Right, so boom. So obviously a nice push up, trailed to this low, and then we had a nice little push up. When we cleared these highs, and I'm watching for ES as well, I then trailed it to the next low. So boom, we've taken the high, next low now. and then we are just going up and up and up. Okay. Now, points to think about around this point here in the market, we had a 4-minute unmitigated fair value gap. So when we tapped into that, I was trailing my stop a bit tighter because I had no idea if price would have respected that and come down or continued to come up. We also had a 5-minute unmitigated right above that. So as soon as we tapped into this 4-minute, I believe I trailed it to this point in the market. So super tight when we hit this 4-minute, just because I believe we have an S&T with ES. Yes, we do. We have an S&T with ES. So price could easily come down. So I'm trailing up. We're now at a 5R, which is ridiculous. But yeah, and then also we have this 5-minute unmitigated, and look at this candle. Look at how we have tapped out, respected it. So I'm definitely keeping my 1 micro here. I'm not going to put it any lower, and I'm not going to do any higher, just because I believe I can acquire some more profits. As you can see, we come so close to getting tapped out there. But basically, yeah, so price obviously comes up. I don't trail any tighter just because I've already achieved a 5R, but I sort of want to achieve more. So I'm being a little bit looser because price has easily respected this. Disrespected it, and we're not instantly reacting off. We're sort of going through it. So this is where I kept it. And then if we play price out, yep. Big push down, and actually it is a huge push down. We don't come all the way to break even. Yeah, we start to react, and literally the next 5 hours we literally chop in this range. It's actually crazy if you go back and check it, but this is where I got exited out. So yeah, pretty crazy trade. I had 4 out of 6 micros on the 1-to-1, 1 out of 6 on a 1-to-1.5, and then 1 micro on a 1-to-5. So this trade netted me $531, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, trailing your stop losses is something that you'll just learn to do and learn to control. But it's definitely a skill you need to acquire, because yeah, sure, I could have just taken all of them out at the 1-to-1, but then I missed out on a lot more by tactically trailing my stop loss. So yeah, right, let's get into the next trade. That was obviously a longer explanation, but it's just because I wanted to go over how I trailed. Right, so my next trade was on Thursday, and this is unfortunately a loss. But it is fine. 11 a.m. So this is also just after, ignore all of these lines, by the way, guys. These are just highs and lows. I'm a bit crazy with that. So this is also during lunch. So Thursdays AM, once again, nothing. We tapped some points of liquidity, but nothing is really going on. As you can see, this huge chop. This was ugly. If you took a trade in this, you should really think about your life choices. But yeah, I mean, saying that, I did take a loss today. But anyway, so yeah, so lunchtime came, and what happened was basically, to put in some context, on the 3rd of December, so this is the 4th, so the previous day, we had a news low that had not been taken. And I could see we were becoming, the bias today for this day on Thursday was a bit more neutral for me personally. But seeing as we were coming close to this news low, I was beginning to become a lot more bearish. So yeah, so this was my entry. You might be thinking, what are you doing, Harry? There's no entry. I mean, there is a 1 minute, but it is, how big is this? It is 1.25 points big or small. So why the hell would I enter this? Well, this was a 30-second play. I never do 30-second plays. However, I'm being introduced into them slowly and sort of practicing them. So this was more of a practice. Should I have done this on a paper account? Probably. But I just sort of tried to try my luck and see how it would go. Obviously, I managed my risk very well. I only lost $100, so I risked a third size on this. So that's completely fine with me. And I did have a hard stop in place just in case we just stormed through the roof. But yeah, my target was this news low, which is obviously a 1 to 3, but that's why I did such a low risk, because obviously I'm targeting such a high R. You know, usually when I do a full risk, I only target a 1 to 1. But if I targeted a 1 to 1 on a third risk, I would basically earn nothing. So yeah, a bit more of a gamble. This isn't the best trade. You know, we don't really have a liquidity sweep. We don't have an SMT. We are reacting out of this 1 minute quite nice. So you see this big wick and bearish candle. That is something I really liked. But overall, this is quite a mid trade. ES is quite correlated though, and we did have the 30-second on ES as well, but it is what it is. You are going to take losses and you are going to play around with things. So yeah, but literally next candle, boom, very hard rejection. Blew through my stop loss, and yeah, obviously exited out at this point in the market. $100 is what it is. I should definitely do more paper trading rather than live trading when I experiment, but it is what it is. It could have paid off, but it just didn't. So yeah, loss for Thursday, first loss of the month, first loss of the week. Am I upset? No, not really. It's trading. You are going to take losses, okay? You have to understand it. You are. Even if you are the best trader in the world, you will lose, because you cannot have a 100% win rate. There's just no way. The market is not like a algorithm. It is almost random, but it's not at the same time, because obviously you can trade a strategy, but your strategy will never work 100% of the time. And if someone out there is saying that they have a 100% win rate, they are lying to you and probably trying to scam you. So definitely watch out for that. But yeah, it is what it is. The main takeaway is that I managed my risk, and therefore I didn't lose a lot. So yeah, that is the takeaway from that loss, 1,000,000%. Okay, my last play. Oh, what have I just done there? My last trade was on December. Sorry, what? December? It was on a Friday. As a Friday during AM session. So let's jump to it. Right, so this was also a 30-second play, but it actually paid off. It was a win. So let's talk about bias. So we were bullish again. Pre-market, we took out some nice. Oh, we're taking out some levels. Nice bullish push up. So it came back to the level and then pushed up again. This trade I liked a lot. So if you remember, I said when I was recapping Tuesday's trade that we had a high that I was targeting because we were bullish. This high still to this point in the market hadn't been taken out, and it was right here, okay? This daily high. This is what I wanted to take out and was my overall bullish target, and we are very close. Now, this is actually where I entered, yes, and I had, I believe, 7.5. Yeah, I had this stop, so quite tight. Let me just set up. Yeah, I got this right. Yeah, so this was the trade. Obviously, there's no 1 minute or anything, but there is a 30-second. By the way, I obviously use 30 seconds, but I use it on TradeAvate, not TradingView. I just do all my analysis on TradingView, so hence why you're not seeing me use the 30 seconds, because you have to have like TradingView Plus or something, but I ain't paying for that. Anyway, yeah, so boom, 30-second inverse, very nice displacement. We had a nice SMT with the S as well. We obviously took the low and tapped into, I believe, a fresh 5 minute. So yeah, also we had a red folder news high at the top of this wick, very nice and attractive wick. So that was definitely a target, but the main target was the daily high. So yeah, entered there, huge bullish candle. Of course, for this trade, I did enter lightly again with $100, third risk, just because once again it is a 30-second play and I'm managing my risk appropriately. But yeah, so when I achieved the 1-to-1, I trailed my stop to the 1-to-1, and then I trailed to, I believe what I could get was a 1-to-3, and then obviously this bearish wick closed me out. Because I wasn't trailing to the max, I was trailing a little bit looser because I believed we could hit this high. But after taking this news high, I thought price could easily respect and come down, as well as this. Look at how uncorrelated we are being. Yes, this sort of shooting for the stars, whereas NQ is being left behind a little bit. So I tried a little bit looser. Unfortunately, I think my stop was about there. I got top tapped out. buy a small wick, but that next candle I definitely would have been tapped out because this is 0.78 R, so I would have been definitely 1 to 1 R. But yeah, price just continues to come up. We do take out the targets, which is very nice to see. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, I did secure profits and I made back my loss from the day previous. Which you shouldn't you shouldn't chase revenge. However, I did. Well, I didn't chase it, but I acquired it. So that is definitely a nice thing to end the week with. But yeah, I made 138 from this, obviously, because I trailed my stop a little bit extra, so I got some extra R and some extra dollars. But yeah, 30 seconds. So why did I use it? So it's mainly conviction. The setup isn't too great, however, I have conviction to a point of liquidity. Like the previous trade, I had the news low, and this trade, I had the news high and the daily high. So it's when there isn't a 1 minute present, because a 1 or a 2 minute inverse is ideal. So when that isn't present, but we have such a nice setup forming and a great draw, I will then look to the 30 seconds to see if we do have a setup there. When it comes to the 15 second, I don't think I will play around with that. I think that's a little bit too crazy for my eyes. 15 seconds is a bit wild. And I just don't think the IFVG is that profitable from it. But who knows, maybe in the future I will look into that a lot more and play around with it. But yeah, that was my week. I finished the week on, I believe, $569, which is pretty cool. 2 wins, 1 loss. That is 66% win rate. So not too bad for a week. But yeah, that is the end of my week, obviously. We got second week next week, which hopefully will be pretty good. So yeah, let me know how you guys had trading this week, how it went, whether you were up or down or break even, how many trades you took, anything. Let me know if you guys want any other forms of content, whether that be learning or information or just whatever other than just weekly recaps. But yeah, feel free to check out my TikTok or Instagram accounts where I post a video almost every day talking about the trades I took, but in a lot less detail than these YouTube videos. These YouTube videos are mainly for information rather than just a quick minute video. I really talk in depth in these, which is why they are so long. But yeah, let me know if you guys want anything else. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Cheers.